Hello and welcome to a short video review of the Samsung HW-N650. You can read the full in-depth review via the link in the description or by clicking the card at the top right of the video. The N650 is Samsung's latest soundbar, and it's a soundbar and wireless subwoofer combination. And basically it's aimed really at the movie and gamers. So what it uses is a series of piping along the top. So rather than having just single drivers at the top, as in say the 750 from last year, this new soundbar has a series of holes, basically like a flute, a pipe with a series of holes. So there's a single driver, but it's driving into this pipe, and it creates a more immersive sound because the sound fires out from all these little holes and creates a more immersive sound field at the front. The idea is to create a bigger experience for people watching blockbuster movies or for playing games and making that gaming experience more immersive. So along the top of it, you've got these upward firing holes. You've also got 3 channels at the front, left, center and right, and these have got both a woofer and a tweeter for each channel. So you've got a full 3-channel system at the front. You've got this wireless subwoofer as well, of course, so that gives you your low frequencies, your bass energy, and then you have these upward firing holes that create a sort of immersive overall expanse. And they fire they're angled at the side, so they will bounce off sidewalls again to create a wider sound stage. That's the idea behind it. In terms of the actual design, this is pretty much the same as last year's soundbars. There's some slight differences. It's more angled at the edges, but basically it's still a metal construction. It's very nicely made. It feels solid when you pick it up. It's got a metal grille at the top and the front to cover the actual drivers, and then there's metal end plates, and on one end you'll find the basic controls, which are volume up and down, and also source select and power. But if you want to control it, obviously you use the remote controls provided. Again, it's pretty much the same as last year's remote controls for their soundbars. Comfortable to hold, easy to use with one hand. You've got a central navigation here, you've got source select, you've got pairing for Bluetooth, you've got mute, you can select the settings, you can select the sound mode, so whether you want it in standard mode or game mode or surround mode. Surround's designed for movies and game is designed for gaming, obviously. And then you've got volume, and also you can set the level of the subwoofer as well. Setup itself, very straightforward. Put the soundbar in front of the TV. You could wall mount it, I suppose, as well, but I just stuck it in front of the 65-inch Q9FN that I was reviewing at the time. And then you put the subwoofer wherever is best for you in terms of your room. Obviously, don't forget you need to plug it in. And then you just attach the sources to the soundbar. Now, this is the area where I've got a criticism of this soundbar. So it has an optical input, it has an HDMI input, and has an HDMI output that supports audio return channel ARC. Also, you can connect your phone or another device to it with Bluetooth. The thing is, the HDMI inputs are HDMI 2.0 and they will pass 4K 60p, but they don't pass high dynamic range. They don't support HDR, which seems crazy when you're talking about a soundbar aimed at people who want to watch movies and play games, when a lot of movies now obviously are available in HDR, and also a lot of games as well. It's a strange decision on the part of Samsung, and I really don't understand it. It's probably not a major deal because, to be honest, what I did was actually run everything into the TV, into the One Connect box, and then run one cable from that to the soundbar and use ARC to send the audio back, because this soundbar doesn't support lossless audio, so really it's not a big deal. In fact, given it's only got one HDMI input, that wouldn't be enough for most people anyway. So in actual fact, the easiest thing to do is to use ARC for the audio, send it back to the TV. And of course, being a Samsung soundbar, it connected with the TV perfectly, and I could just send audio back via the ARC. And also, a nice little feature was that once the TV had detected that the games console was connected, the soundbar also knew it was a games console, went into the game sound mode along with the TV going into its game mode. So that was actually quite a nice feature, very slick, very simple, and really aimed at making a gaming experience as enjoyable as possible. So apart from that one caveat about HDMI not supporting HDR, it's certainly got plenty of features. It's easy to set up and it's very easy to use and control. In terms of sound quality, I'm glad to say that, whilst I might have some issues about lack of HDR support, the sound quality itself is excellent. This is a great sounding soundbar. Not quite as good as last year. They were using this distortion cancelling feature on the higher end soundbars, and that really worked brilliantly. It made them some of the most musical sounding soundbars that I'd ever reviewed, and were great for listening to music. This is aimed more at watching movies and playing games, as I said, although it does sound good with music as well. And when you listen to music, you put it into standard mode, which is just firing using the front 3 channels. Whereas if you want to watch a movie, put it into surround mode, and then you get the more immersive effect, which actually does work very well. You do get sounds coming around you. I was watching things like Batman vs Superman, and there was lots of explosions and rain and things from above you. I should stress this is not an Atmos speaker. It does not support Atmos, and it does not have upward firing Atmos drivers, but it does create a bigger front soundstage and a more immersive effect. Same with gaming, it was great fun with gaming too. Things like Star Wars Battlefront were really immersive using this soundbar. So I think in terms of its design and its intention, it's definitely a success. It works well, it's easy to use, and it sounds great. Obviously I have an issue with the fact it doesn't support HDR, but as I say, given it's only got one HDMI input, I think that's probably a moot point, and you'll just run it through your TV and then use ALC, which I've got to say worked flawlessly. The other issue I have with it is the price. It's £699, which I think is a bit toppy. Last year's flagship models like the HW-MS750, that was about the same price, but that was a much higher build quality that had upward firing drivers. It didn't support AMOS, but it had upward firing drivers, and also had the distortion cancelling feature, which made it sound really good. So this is the same price. This does have a subwoofer, which the other soundbar didn't, but I think when you compare it to the competition, it feels a little bit pricey, particularly when you consider that it's only got one HDMI input and that doesn't support HDR. So apart from that issue and the price, I've got to say though, it is a very good soundbar. And if you're looking for something for, you know, watching movies and gaming and for general TV viewing as well, to improve the sound quality of your TV, you want something that's easy to set up, easy to use, and very effective. And then definitely worth considering. It's certainly worthy of recommendation for its sound quality alone. But I do think that the price is a little bit high, and it's surprising that it doesn't support HDR. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please like and subscribe. And don't forget, you can see more news, reviews, articles and videos like this at avforums.com, Europe's largest home entertainment community. Thanks for watching.